Number 9.
The Jags. You can't run on them. And Liam Cohen has done wonders for Trevor Lawrence's confidence. He's running more. They have the number 1 scoring offense and number 2 scoring defense on their 5-game winning streak. Do I trust them in a big spot? No. But this is the closest version of the Trevor Lawrence we all fell in love with at Clemson. I have the Jags at 9.
No. The Jacksonville Jaguars finally making Colin Cowherd's top 10 herd hierarchy. I got to give a huge shout out to the Jacksonville Jaguars fan base right now. I made a video yesterday, and I said this. I have not been able to make a lot of Jags videos because when I make the videos, nobody watches them. And so before I get into it, I'm just going to ask Jacksonville Jaguars fans, please watch the full length of the video and subscribe. When you guys do that, views go through the roof, subscribers go through the roof, and it puts me in a position to be able to genuinely make great Jacksonville Jaguars content so people actually watch it. I can't emphasize this enough. It's not just about chasing views. It's not just about chasing subscribers. It's about creating content that people want to watch. I'm just a person. It's just me. There's no one else here. I only have so much time and energy in the day. And so there's times I have to pick and choose. What am I going to make a video about? A video that people want to watch, a video that people want to discuss, or am I going to make another video that not a lot of people are going to watch? And it's just like, it's not a matter of chasing views, but it's creating content that people want to watch. And I've created a whole bunch of Jacksonville Jaguars videos, and they got 499 views, 313 views, 835 views, 727 views, 21 comments. And a bunch of those comments are probably me replying. 29 comments. Like, it's just nothing. Like, I had such an awesome video about Trevor Lawrence can be a top 5 quarterback, and I went through all of it. I did a nice little deep dive talking about what Liam Cohen is going to be able to bring, Trevor and all of this type of stuff. 313 people watched it. And again, it's not just about chasing views. It's just, I want to create content that people want to watch, and that video now is the most watched Jacksonville Jaguars video I ever made. I'm recording this at the time that it's 3,100 views. I'm sure by the time you watch this video, that video will now, I don't know, it's probably on pace to have like well over 4,116 new subscribers. So everything is just up, and comments through the roof. And honestly, the comments are awesome. Everyone just commenting, being excited, saying they're ready to go. And now I get to make another Jacksonville Jaguars video, right? And now I can confidently be like, okay, I'm going to make a Jacksonville Jaguars video because it feels like people are going to watch it. And listen, this video could be a dud. I could be talking to no one again. So again, please follow the instructions like you did in the last video. Watch the full-length video, subscribe, all that good stuff. Not going to go through the whole speech because you just saw what I did last time. But yeah, this is such a great game. Like, this is what I'm so excited about, being able to talk to Jacksonville Jaguars fans now, is because going up against the Broncos is, at this point, is the ultimate barometer game for them. I mean, it really is. I mean, over these last 5 games, Trevor Lawrence has arguably been the best quarterback in the NFL. 1 in 200 yards, 8.66 yards per attempt, 13 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. I mean, just think about how Nick has been praising Matthew Stafford week after week after week, and he deserves a ton of praise. No doubt about it. Like Puka, Nakua, Devontae, Sean McVay, etc., etc. And yet, Trevor Lawrence is seemingly putting up better or comparable stats. It's a toss-up between passer rating 107 to 107.2, and I'm not trying to reduce them all to just statistics. I hate doing that. But the point that I'm trying to make more than anything is that this has very much been an underdized team. And a big part of that, I believe, is that they don't have any of those true big iconic wins quite yet. That where they had a little bit with the Chiefs, but that was so short-lived because the Chiefs are obviously not the Chiefs, right? They're just not the same version of the Chiefs that we know. And that game was wild. Like I was watching that game-winning drive still is just like it was both the best and the worst thing I've ever seen in my that was just crazy. And now you're going up against the Broncos and you beat the Broncos. Bo Nix has been awesome. He's been on a heater. This defense is great. You beat the Broncos on the road. Now you're in a position to actually compete for the 1 seed even. You're going to need some help, no doubt. But it's on the table. It's on the table. You own some tiebreakers now, right? That puts you in a fantastic situation to also really solidify. I shouldn't say solidify, but now put yourself also to be like the 2 seed maybe instead of the 3 seed, like really important stuff. And I'm telling you right now, the team gets signaled as well to themselves. We can talk about the fans and all this, but it sends a message and a signal to the team itself. Everyone's always believing in themselves. Like we believe we could be the best, yada, yada, yada. But like, there's a difference between believing and knowing. And I actually just did a Broncos clip with their, Pat Surtain, their defender. And he talked about how going into that Packers game, he's like, we were talking all week that it was a big game. And I talked about that, how like, I'm glad he said that because people always try to downplay a big game, an important game. They're always like, no, any game, just another game, yada, yada, yada. You guys make deal about it than we do. And it's like, that's always a bunch of nonsense. My kind of school of thought is always like, if you think it's a big game as a fan at home, like, and you feel it, I promise you they feel it. And if you're, and if you're trying to figure out, can this team can do it, I believe in them, but you still need to kind of see it a little bit more. Like, that's how they feel too. And so, believe me, they're starting to build confidence. They're starting to feel great. They're looking around the league and saying, hey, we can do this. We absolutely, why not us? Especially this year. And beating a team like the Broncos, I'm telling you, every single person that is even remotely involved with the Jacksonville Jaguars, like professionally, within that franchise, from the coach of the coach of the coach of the coach of the coach, from the people who are just mopping the floors to the chefs, to Trevor Lawrence, to Liam, to everyone, they're going to start to really believe. And I'm telling you, you get a different level of focus, of intensity, of just this is like, whoa, like this is happening, this is real. And it's just everything just feels more vivid. Everything just feels more real. Right now, things are slightly hazy. They're just slightly hazy. And you beat the Broncos, you're like, yeah, man, we're ready. And you really start to forget getting rocked by the Broncos. A game by the Broncos, by the Rams. And it's funny because like I ripped the Jags for that game. That game is probably to this day still the angriest I've ever watched a game, because I was just like, this is so pathetic. And people were like, oh, but they're in London and this, that. And it was like all the drops, the poor throws. I mean, there was like 12 drops that, like, it just made me so angry because I'm like, this is terrible football. This is terrible football. And it's just like, I remember I was like, I want to evoke Stephen A. Smith and be like, you should be ashamed of yourselves right now. And it's just like that now just becomes a fart in the wind. It just becomes nothing. I was just like, yeah, whatever. I don't know what that was. Yeah, we were in London. It was weird. Even though the Jags have lots of experience in London, but I was like, yeah, whatever. What are you going to do? Those games happen. You lay eggs. And it's like, yeah, fine. And I just think you take care of business. You beat the Broncos, and it's like you're on the map. And listen, the Broncos are a great team. I believe in the Broncos through the roof. And this is what I talked about in that Broncos video, more about from a playoff perspective, where I was just like, dude, what's so great about what we got going on right now with the playoffs is like we had such strong senses of like who the Ravens are, the Bills, the Chiefs, the Bengals, etc. And so when they're playing each other, like, you kind of know what to expect. I have zero idea what to expect. A Jags-Broncos AFC Championship game. I have no idea what that looks like. I don't know what Bo Nix and Trevor going toe-to-toe looks like. I got no idea, man. Liam Cohen versus Sean Payne. I have no idea. I have no idea what that looks like. And it's awesome. I mean, it is. It's really, really awesome. And the reality is, because Colin said in this clip, you know, this is the version of Trevor Lawrence that we expected, you know, when he got drafted. And like, I actually disagree, because I don't think Trevor Lawrence is still quite playing what I believe he can play as. And, you know, it's actually kind of funny, because I make a lot of first clips of Nick Ray, and people always wrongly be like, you just want to disagree with Nick, or you like hate Nick. And I'm like, no, I don't. That's not true. They're like, you just always want to disagree with him. And I'm like, and one of my go-to examples was that I was like, I agree with Nick on plenty of things. And I would always be like, I agree with him about Trevor Lawrence. Like, I actually think Trevor Lawrence can be, you know, can still be a great quarterback. The Jags can have success, et cetera, et cetera. And that's why one of my main takes in the summer or spring, winter, whatever, was Liam Cohen going to Jacksonville. Trevor is going to be significantly better. The Jags are going to be significantly better. And they've been able to pull off wins. And they've been able to go on this nice little streak here. But I still don't think they're playing the highest quality football. I still do not think that Trevor is playing who I believe he could play as. And that's why I said before, I was like, I'm not even doing a victory. When the Jags were even coming away with some wins, I was like, they're winning, but they're not doing it how I exactly thought it was going to be. So, like, I'm not going to do a victory lap. I'm not going to be like, I told you Trevor Lawrence was going to be better, because I'm like, I don't feel it. And yet they're still coming away with wins. And now things are slowly changing, obviously. I'm talking about like earlier in the season. And so it's like, if they actually can solidify that, if Trevor actually can solidify that, and everyone's truly on the same page, like, you know, that is a scary thought. You are talking about a 1-80. And, you know, I think the first chance to show that, to prove that you're not just like, yeah, we're a feisty team, we got some good players, we got some good coaches, we got a quarterback who, listen, man, he's really talented. He can kind of do anything. Not the most consistent guy out there, can definitely hurt you, but like, you know, he can make some big plays. Like, it's like, kind of, where do you fall on the spectrum here, right? Like, you know, where do we land? And this is the first real chance of this season with this newer version of the Jags that have been kind of worked out now throughout the course of the season. It's like you're playing against a true top team in the NFL, a proven team, a team that has won a lot of big games now, important games on the road, at home, etc. Their quarterback is playing their bet. Like, you're getting the best version of them. This isn't like earlier on in the season either, because either looking at it through their lens or looking at it through your lens, kind of like what you could say, like, yeah, we played the Rams, but that was a terrible game. We're so much better now, right? Like, you don't have that caveat. It's you're at the point of the season where you got to be playing your best football, and now you're playing another team that is playing their best football, who happens to be the #1 seed in the NFL, not just the AFC. Like, they have the best record. And so it's really the ultimate perfect barometer right now to be like, who are the Jacksonville Jaguars? Who is Trevor Lawrence right now? And you get to find out a couple weeks before the playoffs. And if you get the answer that you want, then you also now put yourself in a position to maybe get the 1 seed or the 2 seed, which can go a really long way. Can go a really long way, especially if you're talking about getting like a 2 seed type thing. You could find yourself home field advantage, right? Like, you could put yourself in a situation that happened with the Eagles last year, where it's like the Eagles had home field advantage the whole time. Lions got knocked out. Bing, bang, boom, wild card divisional round, NFC championship game. Boom, boom, boom. And it's like, great, you know. So it's like, considering the way how this season is unfolding, like, heck, man, even the 3 seed could be sitting at home field. I mean, like, who really knows? Honestly, who knows? Someone has to play the Bills at 7 or something like that. Could be really harmful, or like, you know, like, there's just so much variation. And so the Jags are in a fascinating spot right now. So I'm excited for it. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the Jacksonville Jaguars taking on the Denver Broncos? The fact that they're also officially ranked. I wonder when the last time the Jags were ranked in Collins, her hierarchy. It's got to be a few years, I assume. I mean, like realistically, when were they when Trevor was in the playoffs that time, that year? Like, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me either way, let's get in some discussions, let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun, and please do consider subscribing. As I said, we're building an amazing community here, and I'd absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all generally feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. It really does help the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time. See you.